Welcome back to the program. Angela Liddle joins me. She's with the Pennsylvania Family Support Alliance. This is a very, very important topic. We've dealt with it before. Child abuse, as I understand it, 34 kids in this state died last year as a result of child abuse, and over 4,000 victims. And that's just what's reported.
Correct. Frightening. Frightening, though not surprising.
Would it surprise you if there were more victims? They're just not reported?
Absolutely. That's always an issue. We have seen a tremendous increase in reporting since the amendments to the Child Protective Services Law, the very end of 2014 and into 2015. But we know that there are far more, and we have a lot of work to do, both on the front end of trying to prevent it, and then also helping people be able to get involved and be part of the solution.
What are the causes of it? What produces this?
Well, I think there are more factors than we could ever cover in this morning's chat.
Two or three big ones.
But obviously, you have parents that are ill-equipped, in some cases, overwhelmed. You have, of course, we know the rampant drug and alcohol addiction issue. We have poverty. We have folks that are just, by and large, struggling. And so one of the things that Pennsylvania Family Support Alliance does is provide statewide parent education and support programs to help parents be the best parents they can be.
And so, sometimes, I mean, you can't rule out, just psychological misfits. I mean, people that are doing this because they've got whatever's going on in their heads that in which they need help for. Because this is wrong on every count.
You raise a great point, Terry. There is a percentage of our population who are parenting that for reasons we'll never understand will not provide a safe environment for their kids. And that's why community members, volunteers who volunteer in programs with children, and professionals who are classified as mandated reporters of child abuse, that's why it's so critically important that they really understand what our law says. Now,
there's been, every now and then, it emerges in the news. There are big stories. I mean, something happens. Recently, we had a grand jury report. We learned more, and I'm going to let you take it away. We learned more about victims and what's going on within, finish my sentence.
The Catholic diocese. And really it extends, while they end up being in the limelight a bit right now in the media, the reality is it crosses lots of institutions. So we have parents who obviously struggle and oftentimes don't care for their children in the way they should. But we also have institutions where there's absolute institutional failure with the protection of children. What we have to remind ourselves is that institutions are comprised of people, and we have to build a tolerance that for child abuse and neglect that we just don't tolerate it in our society. We have right now 6 dioceses in the state who have handed over information to the AG's office. I'm happy to say that at least 3 of those dioceses are working with Pennsylvania Family Support Alliance to receive training
All right, we're going to run to a break. I want to continue with this discussion, and then I want to get 2 or 3 things that you think need to be done. All right, we'll be back with this topic in a moment. All right, Angela Liddle from the Pennsylvania Family Support Alliance is here. We're bringing you an update on child abuse. Okay, so where does all this go now that we've got this grand jury report? Child abuse, diocese, and the Catholic Church, where does this go?
Well, I think it's another example that calls our attention to the need to really focus on the protection of kids above and beyond the convenience of institutions and systems. So, I really applaud the bishop out in Pittsburgh who says our efforts shouldn't be adversarial. The protection of kids and seeking the truth should be a joint endeavor. So we applaud any organization or facility, school, church, whatever, that really wants to protect kids. And that happens through good, solid background checks and clearances before you bring somebody on board, good training, ongoing professional development and training on child abuse recognition and reporting.
And observation of things.
And strong policies. And
remember the Penn State situation where somebody, a certain assistant observed what's happened, and you go ahead. We won't get it. We've done a lot of shows on that.
We have. So it's really about educating, but it's about holding ourselves and each other to a level of accountability.
What are you doing specifically in the Family Support Alliance?
Well, we're doing a couple of things. The one thing that I think is important for your viewers to know is that the Department of Human Services, through monies allocated by the General Assembly, has made available no-cost on-site training on what our Child Protective Services law says, how you recognize child abuse, and the proper procedures for reporting it. So if you're a mandated reporter, in likelihood, many of those folks need to have training.
Right. And there's some legislation going on with how far back you can go when there's a lawsuit involving this. That's also an issue, right? Well,
there's a statute of limitations. House Bill 1947 this week, we hope, makes it to the Senate floor with, of course, we want things to be better for future victims.
And what does that say specifically?
Well, what they're trying to look at right now is that the statute of limitations, there would be an extension for victims up to age 50 to file a civil suit. Currently, that is limited to age 30. And then, of course, criminally to look at the elimination. So it'll be interesting to see what the House and the Senate come together on a compromise. The bottom line is we have to do a better job of protecting kids, and it takes everybody to get in the game and work towards that.
Yeah, we have about 40, 45 seconds left. In your estimation, is this problem getting better or is it getting worse? I know that's a tough question because a lot of it goes unreported.
I think we can't really know that for sure. What I think we can say is that the good news is it's on people's radar in a way that it has not been in the past.
Yeah, I think that's a good point because there are other programs that do this. You hear about it all the time. And well, you'll come back and keep us updated as you have been doing. All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you next week for another edition of Pennsylvania Newsmakers, and as always, stay well.